Good clean fight, protect yourself at all time, obey my command at all time. Touch gloves.
Brilliant, pure counterpunchers, only one thing. Andre, what'd you think of all that? He can build an audience in a way that the other two Cuban stars cannot.
Here we see a kind of typical feel-out round.
And the one thing in the fight which experts believe...
This is Perez's round. He's controlled it.
And down he goes.
That's a knockdown. That's a knockdown.
The referee is ruling it a knockdown.
5.
Here we see the knockdown from Gamboa. He lands a glancing left and missed the right and the left. And I think that the feet may have been tangled up. It's hard to tell. No tangle up.
Landed it at a lower connect percentage, but...
Or Gamboa. Gamboa in the past has usually been vulnerable when he feels like he has his man hurt, might be able to take him out.
It's Darleys Perez when in fact it's Darleys. His promoter. Right hand lands for Perez after Gamboa landed a double jab.
Setup jab. He kind of puts it out there.
Right glove going up into the air. Quick left hook for Gamboa.
I think that's as much to get himself in rhythm as it is to distract his opponent. We see him fighting a little looser since he started doing that sort of stuff.
Left hook lands for Perez.
The left hook got Gamboa's attention.
Rigondeaux, it's best to be able to fight like Rigondeaux, in other words, in a totally elevated way.
Jim, but just to touch on the point about Gamboa, good right hand from Gamboa right there. This is the pro game. Totally different business.
Yeah.
As he's able to double and triple up inside, landing more punches in these exchanges than...
Now, I don't think it's necessarily that Gamboa can't...
The way they fight. Steve Weisfeld is our ringside scorer here on Boxing After Dark.
Did, but for the knockdown, Perez win the round convincingly enough to bring it back to 10-9.
If he does this and increases his dominance round over round, which may be happening, that makes a big difference.
Hard right hand by Gamboa. He landed a clean chopping right hand earlier. Perez shook his head as if to say, no, I'm not bothered by that. This was a bigger shot early in round 4.
And I think Darleys was also upset that he was hit while he was down.
Well, Perez is hurt right now, like you mentioned earlier, Max. When he's got his opponent hurt, he tends to leave himself open, but he looks like he's trying to be more mindful.
But maybe better for Gamboa.
Perez took a shot right there, Gamboa, with that uppercut.
Happened in Gamboa's last fight on the undercard of Pacquiao Marquez 4 in Vegas last December 8th.
That's what he's got to work on.
The anti-Andre Ward in that way. He has all the tools of a complete fighter, but gets caught in transition in between.
Good left hook by Perez.
Yeah, Perez, in order to catch Gamboa, who's the faster, good shot right there. Catch Gamboa coming in like that.
Fighters where they tap with the jab, they don't really open you up with it. They just use it as a rangefinder for their crooked punches.
I think it's a good strategy. That may be the case, but he's not a Joe Frazier type of guy. And if you look at him, good combo from Perez right there.
That was the guy who was flashes of it here as he fights more world-class fighters, but you don't see it as consistently.
And I wonder if Gamboa, this may sound funny, but if he even has a game plan going in. Much game plan or strategy in the fighter meeting yesterday.
I always thought of him as a potential Pacquiao opponent a couple years ago.
When a fighter has as much natural talent as Yuriorkis Gamboa.
With all the talent that he has, kind of winging it and just seeing what happens, but...
Now, all this said, 31 years old right now. And want to see him in against the big names. I think it may be barely.
Perez could find a way to make a right hand go with the success he's having with the left.
Landing more of his heavy artillery.
Steve Weisfeld's card is in any way reflective of the official cards. That knockdown at the end of round 1 looms very big because Perez had won that round. It's all about Gamboa.
Yeah, and he
happy as a result of booze. Hasn't just touched Gamboa here and there in the last 2 rounds.
As Jim mentioned earlier,
hasn't quite happened yet.
Perez being the taller fighter. The skill is there, the talent is there, the potential is there. But where's the game plan? What did you come into this fight trying to accomplish? How are you going to get to that victory? Is it
momentary switch to southpaw by Gamboa? Elite fighter, Adrian Broner, in the 135-pound weight class. There's an emerging star named Terrence Crawford. He's not quite there yet, but you'll see him on the undercard next week in Dallas.
Make fans believe he's an elite fighter without fighting any other elite fighters. There's just something about the way he's won his fights. And when he rises in weight class, people need to see you beat fighters.
It's the first time that Gamboa is fighting a real 135-pounder at this level.
In terms of who he's beaten.
Yeah, this is Perez's biggest step up, and so far, even though he's not winning.
Aiming Gamboa's assaults and touching Gamboa with his gloves. Good right hand by Perez.
Perez making up. Good time right there.
And land those sizzling combinations.
I think part of it is Perez and part of it is Gamboa.
Hard right hand by Perez. And the second one.
No longer single shots, but 2s and 3s.
And maybe, Jim, that answers fastball's hard to deal with early, but if you can start to time it.
Good power jab to the stomach from Perez and back to the head.
Fast twitch advantages, the speed and the punching power. To figure out a way to deliver that. And
for 4 2-minute rounds, and it's just not the case in the pro game.
He has the deep amateur background. Beaten Orlando Salido.
Good foot speed.
Basically a pot-shotting type fighter.
Right, were highly questionable rounds which could have gone either way. Maybe it's just that Gamboa needs the best kind of opposition to rise to the occasion.
But I'm talking more of the elite, bigger names.
Yeah, we saw it featherweight. Mtagwa, who gave Juan Lopez was no match for Gamboa, blew him out in 2 rounds. Orlando Salido, a very good fighter. Gamboa beat with his hands down on points.
Elected not to do so. How would you have handicapped that fight, Max?
And Gamboa had never fought at lightweight.
And the referee is ruling it a slip. I'd like to see a replay of that.
And probably aided by the wet sign in the middle of the ring.
It's
that
quite
the ref
possible.
Wiped down earlier.
And maybe that's why Perez isn't protesting the ruling.
That's a dangerous game to lean straight back when you're 5'5".
The perceived knockdown last round, but I think clearly we see the left foot of Gamboa slip on the signage in the ring that we talked about earlier. But I also think Perez landed a shot, but I don't know if it was hard enough to knock him down. Yeah, but if you see the left foot, you see Gamboa also slip, so I think it's up to the discretion of the referee.
Bottom line is we've got round 12 of the scheduled 12. It was not scored a knockdown. Team just a little bit safer in the fight.
And these are the quirks of boxing scoring. Wow, he went down from the punch kind of knockdown.
Right.
Which could be the difference in this fight.
That could be up to a 4-point swing.
Crowd has had plenty of opportunity to save their breath and their shouting.
He's not, bulling his way forward late in the fight.
El ciclón de Guantánamo, Yuriorkis Gamboa.